Hello and welcome to Cherries in Focus, episode 27 here on Cherries Red Army. Welcome to our YouTube channel. If you're listening to us on the podcast, thank you very much. And do subscribe to us. We are getting closer to 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. I say it every week, but we are nudging very, very close. Do hit the like button this evening, or if you're watching this back on replay, it helps the video grow between now and kickoff in the FA Cup against Swansea. We'll be talking about that in this stream. And of course, that interactive chat is open. So if you are a subscriber, you can get involved because we are going to be talking about the lineups, potential lineups on Thursday. We are going to also probably breeze over what happened last weekend against Liverpool. Also use the comments if you are watching this back on replay. I've got Matt and Steve with me. Matt, good evening. Good to have you back on a Cherries in Focus. How are you? Good to see you on Sunday. Not the result we wanted. Come to that in a moment, but how are you?
Good evening, Kirk. Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, good evening to everybody watching. Yeah, it's great to be back on. Been away for a few weeks, work commitments, etc. again. But yeah, it's great to be there on Sunday. I think we were saying off air, weren't we? I enjoyed it, or we all enjoyed it up till half time probably, and then as soon as the second half kicked off, it all went down, peak tongue from there. But it is what it is. You know, we're up against quality opposition, even though they had players missing. So we can't be too despondent, and hopefully we can bounce back on Thursday evening.
We've had some good streams, though, in the last few weeks, months. Steve, good to have you on another one. We do have to drop these in every now and again because otherwise we'd be winning Premier League. So we have to face it, what happened on Sunday. How are you this evening, though?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've recovered from it. I was a bit dejected after the second half on Sunday. It was game of two halves, wasn't it? Literally, I thought we were in the game. I thought we were good value. We had a little bit of a lull in the middle. I thought we started brightly and we ended the half really well. But then they just came out and their levels upped and ours levels seemed to drop. And, I think Andoni's going to be really upset at the way their levels dropped. But, some really a bit naivety. I suppose there's a case to say there's a few square pegs and round holes playing in positions they wouldn't usually be in. And, we succumbed to the better team. And once they got their goal, they just went on from there, didn't they? And obviously nothing went right for us, even the substitutions and then Maxi going off. I left the ground feeling very dejected, but I'm all right now. I'm chirpy. We've got another game to look forward to.
Yeah. They have got their mojo back, Liverpool. Even without Salah, Szoboszlai and fullbacks that create goals and assists, they have got their mojo back, top of the Premier League. Let's jump into the chat this evening. Chris Hubble, thank you very much for joining us on another Cherries in Focus. Same to you, Morgan. Thank you very much. We've got Aaron Kay, a regular on Cherries Red Army. He's joining us in the live chat. Mark Singleton, good to see you outside the North Stand before that fixture against Liverpool. We've got Paul from Australia. Thank you very much. And Junior Cherry Tommy. So welcome, Tommy, to a live stream. Steve's apologising for the slight technical issues we've had. We all have them, including myself. That's what makes live so interesting. Mark Cole, thank you very much. Ollie Windsor, thank you for the nice comment on the social media X. And Alan's also joining us. Would like to start and just wish Jayden Anthony and his family that I hope they're doing okay after the sad loss of his mum. So, Jayden Anthony, we wish you all the best and hope this week is not too stressful for you. A couple of things I want to pick up, guys, before we dive into the Liverpool game. Steve, coming to you, because I think you've watched a couple of academy games and we're building this new training complex. We're really taking our club to the next level. We're growing through the categories and the academy under Alan Connell are doing some fantastic stuff. A little mention for them.
Yeah, I mean, they absolutely blew, was it Newcastle, wasn't it? Blew them away. And again last night, wasn't it? Did they have a game last night as well when they got
against
through that?
Wolves, I think 5-1.
I mean, against Wolves, yeah, absolutely brilliant. So I didn't manage to catch it last night, but I did see a bit of the pre-match interview. I think Nathan Mariah-Welsh was back in the side. I think he scored as well, so that's good. He's been out on loan at Newport, I believe it was, and done well there. So some bright sparks for the future. And yeah, there are some lads within that team that I've seen in a couple of games. So I think they could pop if they knuckle down and put their heart and soul into it. They could maybe push for a first team. Into the first team squad, not necessarily to start or anything like that, but there's definitely some good signs there.
Dare I say it, Matt? Future looks bright. And Phil Foley can get his massive checkbook out when he wants and pay 20 million to a point with FFP getting involved, as we know. But if you can recruit within and you can grow a talent and actually they can then get into the first team and you may cash in later down the line and make 50, 60 million quid, but actually we benefit from it initially. I mean, it's the best way to build a squad, right?
I think it's the only way, really, Kirk. The only sustainable way for a club like ourselves is to build from the foundation up, and that means that we've got to produce homegrown talent. And to produce homegrown talent, you've got to have the infrastructure and the facilities to do so, to be able to attract said homegrown talent and to be able to nurture them, develop them, and bring them through. And those that rise to the top, we know that will be a very small amount of players because of the level we're now playing at in the Premier League. You've got to be exceptional to be able to make the grade. But, a lot of clubs do it. We've only got to look down the road at our lovely neighbours, haven't we, and what they've done over the years. And if we could replicate that and even in a smaller way, it would put us on a very sound footing, because we are going to sail pretty close to the wind, I think, in terms of FFP. Due to the nature of us as a football club, we are always going to be one of the smaller clubs in the Premier League, certainly, even with the advancements in infrastructure in terms of new stadium, growing the fan base. We're still not going to be able to compete at a level that the majority of the other clubs do. So therefore, you've got to look at other ways to become sustainable and to continue growth within your football club. And one of the main things is going to be to nurture talent through the ranks up to Premier League level, and then at the appropriate time, sell them for appropriate transfer fees and keep that conveyor belt and that chain running and going. We've seen the likes of Brighton do it. They recruit very well as well, very smartly run football club. We've seen Southampton do it over the years. So we're going to have to replicate that sort of model, really. And it's really encouraging to see. I mean, some of the performances of late from the development squad and from the academy groups, particularly the Newcastle win and the Wolves win last night. It's amazing to see, and it's something that, again, we could have only have dreamt of, really, as a football club competing at this level in years gone by. So yeah, long may it continue.
Fantastic news for the academy, so we'll keep an eye on that. And Steve, very, very quickly, some news on Emiliano Marcondes. He's gone on loan to the end of the season to Hibernian. I mean, that will see the end of his contract. I mean, he's a very, very good Championship player for Brentford and for us. He has struggled to make it a first-team regular in the Premier League. I mean, the Championship is a tough league. SPFL, in my opinion, is not close to that. So Marcondes, really, if he can recover from that long-term injury he did have, we know he's a talent. We know he's a threat in front of goal. Hibernian should have a good player here, and he should be very comfortable in that league.
Yeah, I'd imagine he'd see that as a good challenge, actually, up at, coming back from the injury he's come back from. It's a nasty one for him. He was out for a long time, but I did see he played in one of the development games that I saw earlier in the season. He did look a little bit off it, so he definitely needs game time to get his career back on track. And we've got a habit of loaning players to Scottish clubs of late, so I think we've got a good relationship with Hibs and the like. I think we've sent a couple up there in the last couple of years, haven't we? I think
James Hill had a stint up there, didn't he? Again,
James Hill, yeah. Was it Hearts? Yeah. So we sent a few up there. So yeah, I mean, it can only be good for him to get some game time, because when I saw him, it just looked like he was lacking it. He was off the pace, match fitness, and all the rest of it, which you would expect after being out so long. But I mean, all the best to him. I know his contract's running out, but he's never let us down, has he? Really, he's always he's stuck around. He's never moaned, and he's actually. I see him. You see him leave the Dean Court and that after the games, and he's always in good spirits, whether he's played or not. He's always good with the fans. He's a bit of a fan's favourite, really, isn't he? And he's all the best to him. Good luck to him.
Yeah, he's a good lad, Marcondes. He's a fan favourite, and he always gives time to the fans. So wish him all the best, and I think he can do really well there in the second half of the season. Right, let's look at this. Last Sunday, what an opportunity we had to upset Liverpool again, but second half didn't go to plan at all. Andoni was not happy with the first 10-15 minutes of that second half, and Liverpool really turned the screw. We'll talk about where it might have gone wrong. As I said, we might not dwell on it too much, but there were changes in the side because of injuries. There were also changes for Liverpool, but 4 goals, 2 for Núñez, 2 for Jota. Matt, I thought we started okay. I thought we were quite bubbly. I thought that we got some set pieces, corners. We didn't quite trouble them, but we were getting in positive areas. I thought the middle of the first half was a little bit messy. Passing let us down a bit. I think the unbalance of the centre-back partnership and the full-backs, where James Hill had his first start and he was playing left-back. I thought it might be Aaron's actually, Matt, but it ended up being James Hill. But either or, really, it doesn't really matter. I'm not a fan of right-footed centre-backs when they're heavily right-footed on the left. I've never been a fan of Smith playing there, but he's done a job there many times. But it does create an unbalance there. Sinisterra overdid it because he didn't have movement around him, so he was overdoing it on the ball. Got messy. Second half, we didn't react. And yeah, I mean, your overall summary, really, of where it all went wrong and the problems we encountered in that second half.
I think where it all went wrong really is in the back four. I mean, to have such a makeshift back four against potentially the most, one of the most potent strike forces in the league in terms of how they play, their creativity, what they can do to you with the quality they've got. I mean, we can talk all day long about the players that they had missing, but when you look at their lineup, there's a World Cup winner pulling the strings in midfield. You've got Nunes and Diaz up top. Jota has got real quality. We know that. So, we're still up against it. And when you're asking for a lad in James Hill that's very young and very inexperienced still, particularly at this level, to come back in and step it up. He's been at Blackburn. He's done phenomenal. He's been on loan up in the Scottish Premier League, done really well. It's a different ask to, for him to come straight into a team, fresh and against the likes of Liverpool. Not only that, you're playing him out of position. You're playing him left back when he's right. He's a right-footed centre half, isn't he? Really. So it was always a massive ask. You've got Chris Mepham there, who ring rusty, hasn't had the game time, hasn't had the minutes, and it just looked disjointed. I thought first half we did cope with it well. I thought Ryan Christie actually got to grips with McAllister really well. Mugged him off actually a couple of times. I remember once I think he done him. Run rings around him a little bit and then sprayed a ball wide. And I was thinking, we've got Ryan Christie here mugging off a World Cup winner. Does it get any better than that? And I thought first half we were competitive. We did compete with them well. We had our moments. And going into half time, you sort of thought, yeah, we're in the game here. It's ebbed and flowed. And like you say, been a bit disjointed in the middle of it. But we were competitive and we were sort of worthy of holding them. And second half, you're looking for us to then sustain that and maintain that and kick on. It didn't happen. Klopp obviously got them in at half time and said, look, we need to up it here. The game's there for us. We need to really up our levels. Second half, and they come out and they certainly showed what they're all about. They got the bit between their teeth, got the early goal, which I thought was crucial. And you could see them grow in confidence and momentum as the game then went on. As it zapped out of us. And, Aaron's getting injured was obviously a factor. And obviously, we've talked about the back four. And I just think further up the field, we're missing players as well. We miss Semenyo. I think Alex Scott is not quite at it yet. He's coming back from injury still. And I thought McAllister was starting to dominate things in the second. He was really starting to dominate the midfield second half, and along with Jones, Curtis Jones next to him as well. And Harvey Elliott as well. I thought they got to grips with us, and the front three are always going to cause you problems. 4-0 flattered them. Of course it did. But at the end of the day, we're up against a top quality team who are going to probably run Man City very close this year for the title. So let's get things in perspective. That's what we're up against. Disappointing to lose it 4-0, but we've got to just draw a line under it, move on from it, learn from it, and go again.
Yeah, so Steve, Chris Mepham tries his best, but I'm not sure he's completely happy. I'm not sure where his future lies. I think it showed that we missed Senesi. I know his pace got found out at QPR, but that balance for me of Senesi, especially on the ball, he really starts a lot of play for us, and we've seen how good he's been in possession for us when we're on the ball. And Sabani is the strength and the battler. So I felt Mepham struggled at times. And then I want to come over to Hill a little bit, because there was a lot of praise for Hill on social media, and he did well, Steve. He did well. But the frustration I have is, it's natural for me for a right-footed defender to always want to play backwards or play dangerous balls inside. And I think that happened on occasions. And there was also a moment, I don't know if you recall this, I can't think where you were sitting, Steve, but there was a moment where the ball was played in behind, in between Hill and Neto. And you could see James Hill going, Neto, you're the captain, you're the leader. Can you dominate this situation? Neto didn't. Yeah. No. Hill's a young lad here, and he ends up putting it out for a cheap corner. And it's just moments like that where you just like, this is not us. This was us at the start of the season, and I don't know if it's a winter break. I don't know if we went away anywhere, but just moments like that really concern me in the first half.
Yeah, well, I think there's an argument, like we said, it's a makeshift back four, so they hadn't played together much. James Hill's only just come back from a completely different side. So there's going to be a bit of indecision at times. And I mean, we've said it many times on previous pods that Neto's not the most decisive at coming out and claiming the ball, is he? So there's that little bit of indecision between him and a young lad. And I think, to be honest, I get what you're saying about James Hill and having the wrong-sided player on the wrong side. So their tendency is to become a bit predictable. They come inside a lot, go back, go sideways. It's very easy to play against. But I think for what he was asked to do, I think he didn't really put much of a foot wrong. He did, you say a cheap corner, but he still dealt with it. He didn't leave it to the keeper. And I'd always say that about a defender. If you're not sure, deal with it. If you can't rely on your keeper to come out and claim it, who is the senior player in this case and should have been dominating and asking for the ball and guiding his back four. If you're not going to get that, just deal with it. However you need to do. Just if in doubt, put it out. It's the old adage. And I just think he did what he needed to do. He was asked to do a job and he did it reasonably okay. I thought I can't remember him really putting, having a real ricket in his game. I thought he kept them quiet first half, and strangely enough, when he comes off, we start conceding loads of goals. I know that's a bit of a coincidence to say that, but I didn't think it was necessarily a necessary substitution either. I can see why it probably was a chance to give Kelly a bit more game time to get him up to speed because we want to get him back in the side. But moving forward, I think he'll have a part to play because I think, like you say, Aarons is looking like he's done his hammy, and Smith's, I think, out for a few weeks more. Senesi will be back. So there's a chance he could be in the next game on the other side at right back. So I think it's a good opportunity for him. And he's been highly rated by the Blackburn fans. So I give it, if I were him, I'd just go into it and just play your game and try and stake a claim for a start because, he's going to get an opportunity.
Yeah. And I do want to move on very, very soon to the FA Cup, Matt, but the goals we conceded for me were very poor. I thought we didn't anticipate the first goal. I think the second one, Sabani got out-muscled. There's a goal in there where both players turn their back on Jota and he gets a second bite of the cherry to stick that one away. So the goals we'd conceded, and Donny won't be happy. Dom Solanke, it was a big day for him, potentially, a really big day for him. His numbers are fantastic. He's performing so well in the Premier League, just picked up a personal trophy, maybe knocking on the door. Not sure Gareth Southgate will give him this chance, but maybe knocking on the door for England. Would he have been frustrated on Sunday that he didn't really get the chances? Because even through performances of late for us where we have lost, we've still peppered goals and we've still got shots away. I don't really think we worked Alisson at all. And Andoni would have been disappointed with that. We were quite poor in the final third.
We were. I think there's a couple of elements to that. Obviously, we were stifled in the midfield, particularly second half. It was non-existent, really. We were getting dominated in the middle of the park. You've also got to credit their centre-half pairing, Van Dijk and Konate. I thought that was a really, really assured, solid defensive display from the two of them, which you'd come to expect from the pair of them, really. So no surprise there. Ultimately, I think we really, really missed the guile, the tenacity, the physical presence, pace and power of Semenyo in the final third. I think that was sorely missed on Sunday. So there's a number of factors as to why Dom Solanke wasn't as involved in the game as he should have been. But I thought they really did a number on him as a team, and particularly a centre-half pair. And I thought they kept him under wraps really, really well. So it was a frustrating afternoon, really, for Dom, as it was for a lot of us. And I think, going back to Steve's point, I think bang on really about Lloyd Kelly. I mean, he's obviously, he needs minutes. He's lacking match sharpness and match fitness, but when he come on, it's no coincidence that what we conceded, at least 2 or 3 goals the minute he comes on to replace James Hill. So it was just completely disjointed. I put it down. I know you've talked about it, touched on it, Kirk, already. I put the 4-0 defeat down to the fact that the back four was so upset, really, and disjointed. To be successful at any level, you've got to have a settled back four, and you've got to have at least 2 of your, probably 3 of your first choice in amongst it. So for it to be that disrupted, and to have a lad coming in playing left back when he's he's been in the Championship as a right-sided centre half, and to have somebody come in like Chris Meffam, who's pretty basic, by his own admission as a defender, and he's not had the minutes. And then Aarons goes off with an injury. It's just all sort of nothing really went for us on the day, did it? And by the end, you could see the confidence draining out of the team, particularly the back four. I think we were all over the shop, weren't we? In the end, it wasn't a 4-0 game overall, but you get punished at this level, don't you? And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, Paul in the
chat. Do you think there's a case to say that? Sorry, just to butt in with the. I thought they dealt with most things okay in the first half. I know it's a makeshift back four, and there was some wobbles. I was really happy. But I think for the first half, they dealt with most of it, and I think we're focusing on the fact that we had a makeshift back four a bit too much, and I think there was a few players that didn't turn up. I know you say that Don was marked out in the game, and I totally agree. I think they did a right number on him, but I think players like Tavernier, Cliver, I just think didn't turn up really. They tried, they kind of huffed and puffed and didn't really. Sinistera as well. Yeah, we had some good passing movements and passages of play, nice little triangles to start off with. End of the first half as well, but there was no final ball, no final product with it. And when you're playing again, you're gonna come up against pressure from Liverpool at some point. You will do. So when you get opportunities to put the ball in the back of net, you got to take them. We had, I could go through Christie's one in the first half. I mean, but you've got all you need to do is put a foot on it and it goes in.
Wrong foot. He went with his left.
Yeah.
I think he went with his left.
Regardless.
He's right, that's in.
But my point is, we can't just focus on the back four. We've got to say, from as a collective, it just didn't work. And then second half, you've got lads coming in who get, run out like Brooksy and Kiefer, and they both had opportunities. Brooksy's one's dreadful. Well, they're both dreadful, but you've got to be putting those chances away. I know it didn't really mean much at that point, but it would have been something to get the crowd, a little bit on your side. And you think, come on, lads, you've been waiting for a chance, and you get one, and you play like that, and you just think it's not. I just don't think it's complete. Look at their goals as well. I think the first one's a great goal from their point of view. It's one-touch football. It's quick. It's incisive. We're all over the place. Second one, they did. Second one, like you say, Zabani gets out muscled. I think it's a bit naivety on his part, trying to win a bouncing ball with a big, strong lad. The third one, I think that's complete just luck. It's luck. It's luck. Yeah, but he's missing that. He's missing it.
Yeah, but you've got to deal with it as well.
And it's just I know, but you've missing it, and it's just fallen. Any other time that happens, 10 out of 10 times, that comes off his standing foot and goes out somewhere behind him or whatever. Yeah. It just fell nicely for him. And the fourth one, I'm going to lay the blame at Neto, because that's been put in the goal in his 6-yard box from a cross in. And that's what I said. Just collectively, it just wasn't right.
It was disjointed, Steve. It was disjointed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the whole team. It was breaking down far too easily when we had possession. We couldn't keep hold, and we were giving the ball away in our own half too often, for my liking as well. It was it wasn't a great display.
I would just say if it was down to me, I would say that the best two players on the pitch were probably Cook and Christie, and I don't think they were brilliant. I just thought they just did their usual thing, but they didn't have anyone around them creating anything, or
they got dominated ultimately in the second
half. Because I think the fact that we held on for the first half and we had moments was a positive.
Yeah, I was really pleased at half time. To be fair, I thought we gave a good account of ourselves overall in the first, all things considered. I thought we could kick on. We needed to kick on second half, but
let's just put it in the bin.
Yeah, put it in the bin. There's a few in there this season, not many, but we'll put it in the bin. Yeah. Paul Faulkner says Hill played well, has a good throw on him. He does have a very good throw on him.
Yeah, that's a weapon.
Mark Singleton, good point as well. I made this point. Scott was taken off free kicks and corners. A bit strange. What I would say is, look, it happens, and I think Andoni will turn this into a positive. I think the team will now understand that you have to approach every game with the mentality. I think maybe that good form, we've taken stuff for granted. Maybe, I mean, it's Liverpool. We shouldn't have taken stuff for granted. They're top of the league. But I think
that's the thing. You can't be too annoyed about it, can you?
No, exactly.
Because look at the run we've been on, and we've come against two of the top 6 in the last.
Let's not get carried away. Let's put it in perspective.
And we, exactly. We outshot Tottenham. I thought we were the better side, to be honest. They were clinical, and Liverpool were clinical as well. So, forget about it. Move on to the games. We've got much more chance of winning them.
It's a shame that we didn't score, though, because Andoni
is a
Iraola was
shame.
chasing down a record of 13, 14 games consecutively. But it's gone. It's
Was
done.
it really?
Yeah. And we were on 11, and I think Eddie Howe got 13 or 14 one season. So we were chasing down a record, but it's done. It's gone. And now what that means is, as long as we bounce back and we have an opportunity on Thursday in a different competition against Swansea, as long as we bounce back, we could get a reaction. Do subscribe to the channel. Do hit the like button. Let's move on to Swansea. We do have a very good record against them. So it's the FA Cup, 4th round, Thursday. They moved it to Thursday. I could go when it was on Saturday, guys. Now I can't go because we've got family commitments. So won't be at the game at Dean Court, annoyingly, but it's Bournemouth against Swansea in the 4th round on Thursday for TV. Not sure what TV programme it is, but it's on TV somewhere, apparently. But, Matt,
I think it's on Welsh TV, isn't it?
From what happened on Sunday. And, yeah, Swansea City. I mean, we've got a very, very good record against them. They're sort of in the unknown in the Championship. They don't look like they're really going to fall into trouble. They're not pulling up trees. So they've got a new manager as well, who I think they've got from Notts County. So previously been at Swansea, I think, in his career. But they'll come here knowing that they've got nothing to lose. We know previous seasons recently we've lost to Bournemouth and Burnley. So the FA Cup can do the FA Cup. But Andoni Iraola does like a competition, we're being told, and we should be favourites in this game, you'd say.
Oh, massively favourites with whatever team he puts out, whatever team he can put out. I personally think we've seen it already. I don't think we've just been told, Kirk, that Iraola loves a cup competition. I think he's demonstrated that he wants to take it seriously. I think we were slightly unfortunate to lose to Liverpool in the Carabao Cup. He gave that a real go. And he's given the FA Cup a real go. He obviously realised it wasn't working at QPR, switches it round, and we go, and what a response second half to win the game 3-2 the way we did. So, years ago, even under Eddie Howe in cup competitions, we lose that game at QPR for me, no question of doubt. But Iraola wasn't prepared to do that. He wanted a response second half. It shows how much he cares and how important it is to him, because it's all about momentum and confidence, which, as we've talked about before, is a huge thing in football. We get beat at home to Swansea on Thursday, then it puts us in a bit of a tricky spot, doesn't it, in terms of our mentality, our confidence, and any momentum that we had ebbs away just that little bit more, because it would be a bit of a shock and a really bad defeat, let's be honest. So I think that he'll pick the strongest side that he possibly can on Thursday, taking into account certain things. I think the key question for me is, does he start Dom Solanke? He didn't do it at QPR. Kiefer Moore, does he suit the way that we play football? No, he doesn't. Is he a great plan B to bring off the bench? Yes, he is. But so what does he do? He hasn't really got another number 9, maybe, that he can stick in. So that's the biggest question mark for me. But I think apart from that, Senesi comes back, that he'll probably start. I think maybe either Meffam or Zibanyi, Lloyd Kelly, depending on whether he's going to go or not. I don't think he is this window. So I think he needs minutes. So he starts for me as well. Travers comes in goal. Alex Scott, I think he won't have any hesitation in starting. He needs minutes. I reckon he'll play him at home to Swansea. There's a risk there in terms of getting him injured, but he needs games. At the end of the day, he's a young lad. He needs to showcase his talent. I think he can be pivotal for us. So I think people like Phil Billing comes in as well. Sinisterra probably, he hasn't had a lot of game time, has he? So he starts for me as well. And there's a few players rested, but that's still a strong lineup for me, Kirk, and still a team there, if he's putting that sort of 11 out, that should get the job done for me and get us into the 5th round, which is another step closer, isn't it? And it's there for us to have a good crack at this competition. We're a mid-table Premier League club. We should be treating it quite seriously, to be honest.
So don't spoil the game, Matt, because we are going to play with the interactive chat in a few moments' time, where we're going to try and predict what Andoni Iraola is going to do on Thursday against Swansea. Steve, we've played Swansea already this season in the Carabao Cup. You'll know that, whether you remember much from it. I mean, we made hard work of that. We made hard work of QPR. we did get the job done. But we need to respect this game. I didn't feel like we respected the QPR fixture a few weeks ago until the second half, until we realised that we were almost out of the competition. So we need to respect the fixture. But yeah, I mean, they got Matt Grimes. They shouldn't have Jamal Lowe. He should be cup tied. They haven't got players like Perot anymore. So they're in a new foundation, Swansea. They're trying to learn a new technique and a new identity themselves under a new manager. They'll probably just have a go at it and see what happens. But yeah, can you remember that fixture from the Carabao Cup a few months ago?
Vaguely, yes. It was yeah, it was a bit of a
6 points
hotspot.
each, Steve, yeah?
I don't know about that. No, I hope not, because I was driving that night. So no, I do remember it was a 3-2, but we made hard work of it. And yeah, there was a few things you don't see very often. Ryan Christie scored. I believe if I remember, I think he got the winner. I mean, we were dreadful first half, but this has been a kind of a running theme for us in the cup games. We've been a bit of a makeshift side, not very good first half, come out second half, and he's obviously put a rocket up them and seemed to turn it around. Now we can't keep doing that. I mean, like you said, we need to respect this fixture. We were very fortunate against QPR because when they scored the second, I know they didn't offer a lot, but you just think, oh God, is it going to be one of those days where we've just kicked, we've made a rod for our own back and we've got ourselves out of the cup. As it was, we turned it around again. But I think it's a difficult one for me because I think I'm still a bit of one of these people. I don't want to take risks with players that we need for the league. So the likes of Solanke, I probably would leave out just because I don't, unless we've got someone coming in. I don't know. I personally, I like the thought. Well, it's not like the thought, but we've seen Cliver up front previously used. I don't think he was really at it on Sunday. So is there a case to say he could do with getting himself a bit of confidence, getting himself a couple of goals? I think really whatever team we put out should have enough to beat Swansea because they're having a bit of a mixed bag, like you say. I looked at their fixtures or the results earlier, and it's literally win, draw, lost, win, draw. There's no consistency in their results.
They lost at the weekend as well to some team down the road.
Apparently. Yeah, they've had it. Yeah, they've had a couple of little upsets, I suppose you call it. I think they went to Norwich and beat them and beat West Brom. Teams you think they'd probably lose against. So they got capabilities in their side. But if we take it seriously, like you said, and Andoni seems to want to, we shouldn't have any trouble with whoever we put out. It's just the mentality of it. We want to take it seriously. We want to get a good result. We want to put a show on for the crowd. And recent form would say that we shouldn't struggle with this. I can't remember any. I can't remember when we lost to them last. I just cannot remember
Such a good record. Well, let's have a look.
I know.
Yeah, I've got a few match sort of stats here. Well, some key information about the fixture between us. So the only previous FA Cup tie between Bournemouth and Swansea was in November 2000. The Cherries winning 2-0 with goals from Wade Elliott and James Hayter, Matt.
I remember that. Yeah.
Swansea are winless in their last 12 games against Bournemouth in all competitions, drawn 4, lost 8, and have already lost 3-2 against them in the League Cup this season. No side has ever eliminated the Swans from both competitions in the same season before. That's interesting. But also, Bournemouth, us, the Cherries, have lost their last 2 FA Cup matches against teams from lower division than them, Bournemouth and Burnley. And didn't we lose to Southampton in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup the season before that as well? I think so. Home record doesn't look great, does it? But some interesting match information there, match lineup. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'm very confident going into this. We just need to shrug off Sunday and have a good
There's a case to say we might beat the same team twice in both cups and knock them out. But there's also a case to say we could lose to the same team twice in the cup. Do you see where I'm going? So we lost to Liverpool and Liverpool's still in the FA Cup.
I've seen enough,
but that's what I mean. You tend to get those seasons when you end up playing the same bloody team about 4 times, and it just seems like one of them. We had Everton, didn't we, last time?
Yeah,
had them in the cup, and then we beat them in the league. And I don't know, it'd be funny things have happened.
Liverpool, absolutely done with watching them. To be honest,
watching them beat us.
Yeah, I'm just done with it, to be honest with you. And also, Matt, we're going to go into those predicted lineups. We're going to get involved with the interactive chat, but if we get through, it's already been done by yourself. If we do get through this, right? If we do get through this fixture, we should feel confident that we can. This competition is going to open itself wide open. There's a lot of Premier League teams that have gone already. There's more Premier League battles going on in the 4th round. Get a nice draw in the 5th, and I am thinking that, you know, I might get a little bit excited.
Well, look, like I said previously, we're effectively a mid-table Premier League team. You know, you've got the sides above you that are in Europe. A lot of them are spinning so many plates, going for European places, Champions League, Premier League, and I'm not to say that we should be winning the thing, but even to get to a semi-final, which is now played at Wembley, how huge would that be for a club like us to be in the semi somewhere where to do something that we've never ever done before, because we've been all about being unprecedented and breaking these records over the last 10, 11 years, getting to the Premier League, spending 5 seasons there, getting to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup for the first time, for the second time, to get to a semi. The next stop is Europe, isn't it? Let's be honest. That's our ultimate aim, to get to Europe, and that's sort of the glass ceiling. But what an achievement!
I can't believe I'm having this conversation.
It's twisted, isn't it? We've been all about breaking
Harry
records.
thinks it's time for a cup run. Eddie wasn't interested in any cups.
I think so. Otherwise, it becomes boring, doesn't it? Staying up every year, making steady steps every season.
Yeah, you got to do something with it.
You've got to do something for the fans, haven't you, to really reignite you as a club sometimes and as a fan base. And getting to even a semi-final of an FA Cup would be magical. Wouldn't it? A day out at Wembley, see where it takes us. Just let's go for it. Why not?
Oh, don't Matt. Steve, there is no way the ticketing system copes with a semi-final ticket release. Never in a million years.
That's the reason I want to see it.
No, I'm gonna be completely grey if that happens. It just do me in, that will.
Even though we know we're going to have enough tickets, it's not going to cope with it. There's going to be like a line queue of 652. You'll be in about 10 minutes.
I mean,
right?
It fell to bits in the week, didn't it? Or was it last week?
The Swansea game. Yeah.
Sort it out, club.
Yeah, sort it out. Right, we need to sort out. I'll tell you what we need to sort out. Who's going to start on Thursday? What's Andoni going to do? We've done this before. Let's bring it on the screen. We've got a football pitch, Matt. We've got a football pitch, Steve, and we'll go through it. And what we'll do is we'll get you involved in the chat and you can tell us what you think. So do play along. Do tell us what you think. I'm going to start us off, though, guys. I'm going to go with Mark Travers.
Super Mark Travers in goal.
I know he conceded 2 at Loftus Road, but he starts for me. Neto had a day to forget. Not just him, but he had a day to forget against Liverpool. But yeah, Travers is in for me. So, Steve, you're a defender. I mean, Matt's a defender as well. I think he was a fullback. Give me your defence, and I'll see if Matt wants to change anything in there. What's your back four?
So my back four would be James Hill, right back.
Yeah.
Back
four in the chat. So if you're playing along in the chat, what's your back four?
Meps.
Yeah.
Right centre back. Yeah. Senesi.
Yeah.
And this one's difficult. It's probably got to be Lloyd, I suppose, because Lloyd's back. It's the only 100%. Option you got, really, unless you start putting players like Tav there.
No, that would be mine. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with any of that.
The last time
I think the good thing about that is that I don't think Zabani's missed a minute of football the whole season. No. He could probably do. I know we're in the midst of a break, but he could probably do with a little break himself because he's played every minute and he's been superb. But I think that's good. That's a good enough defence to deal with Swansea.
That's Steve, I was going to say, Steve. I was going to say, like, what's your reasoning for keeping out Sabani? I assumed it was going to be the case that he's played every Premier League game.
Yeah, just because he's been there every game, and he could probably just do with a break. We've got a bit of time off after it as well, so he's well overdue a break, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Matt, very quickly as well, when we last did this FA Cup stream with a couple of Bournemouth fans, they were predicting that Greenwood would start at QPR, and I did think it was going to happen. I thought it's a good shout, actually, but he didn't. Again, I expect Greenwood to be on the bench. He's got a good left peg as well, but maybe a bit too early in his career.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's to come for him. But you don't know what's going on behind the scenes doing in training and things like that. And Iriola's got to think that he's ready for it, and he didn't against QPR. And I think if Lloyd Kelly's fit and he needs minutes, which he does, then this is a perfect opportunity to play him. He's still our player at the end of the day. I think he will be now to the end of the season. So, yeah, let's play him.
Steve, just going in there, Mark Cole, he's gone Hill, Mepham, Senesi, Tavernier. Now, I was asking for Tavernier to play at left back when we were struggling for left backs because he's naturally left-footed. He will overlap, etc. Thought he did struggle actually at QPR. He had an attacking player against him that had him for pace, and maybe that's why Tavernier didn't start a left back against Liverpool, because maybe Iriola was worried about him on the turn. But this is Swansea. Why can't Tavernier play left back? If Kelly's still iffy. I mean, I know Kelly's decent. I mean, say Kelly's not fully fit.
Yeah, but if he's fit enough to come on against Liverpool, he's fit enough to start against Swansea. Yeah. I should think. Tavernier, I just don't know.
You want left back, is he?
No, he's not a left back. It's another square peg in a round hole. No, I know, but Kelly's not, is he? Yeah. We haven't got either of them.
Yeah, if Kelly's away, why wouldn't you play him? Tavernier's strength is going forward in an attacking sense. He's not a left back, as he could probably do a rest as well, maybe if he really needs.
He can do a job there if you want him to.
But yeah, if Kelly's fit, surely you'd play him.
But Kelly needs, like you said, Kelly needs game time. He's played minutes. Left back naturally, and he's left-sided. I don't see why you wouldn't play him there. It just makes sense to me.
I don't know, chat. Steve worried about Yannick Bolasie potentially going up against Marcus Tavernier. I mean, he is 34. He is 34, Bolasie. But
Yannick Bolasie, is he still playing?
Yeah, he's playing for them. He's in their team. He's on a short contract. So interesting. Let's move into midfield then, Matt. I've got a double pivot. Not sure we need a double pivot, but give me a couple of midfielders, Matt.
No, I'm not sure we do either. But do you want me to give you all three?
Oh, go for it then. Go on.
Yeah, so I think Lewis Kirk. I mean, he's obviously been in and out a little bit. I think he can play this one as the holder. Give Ryan Christie a rest, because he tried to do that against QPR and had to bring him on because nobody else could be trusted. So I'd go Alex Scott. I would. He needs minutes. He's on his way back, and the ability the kid's got, he needs to play. And this could be a real chance for him to. This was his level, wasn't it? He could run the show here. He really could. And he needs the game time as well. Get him back in the swing. So I'd play Alex Scott alongside Lewis Kirk Holding, and I'd probably go Phil Billing in the 10 role for this one, who's another player that has been out of the picture a little bit. Iriola's obviously not fancied him to start. He's been bringing him on, but oddly he brought Brooks on ahead of Billing on Sunday, which I was a little bit surprised at. So I don't know quite what's going on there, but Billing obviously needs game time, and you've got to factor in the fact that these players have, got to be kept happy up to a point. If he doesn't start on Thursday night, Billing, I can't imagine him being too pleased about that. And we know what he can offer us as well. So, yeah, I'd go with a Cook, Scott, and Billing triangular formation in that 3 with Billing in the 10.
Wing is going for Tavernier, Scott, Sinisterra, midfield 3. Billing potentially involved. Scott, Billing, Cook, same as you, Matt. Chris Hubble's going for Cook, Christie, Scott, Billing, and got Paul Faulkner going for Christie, Cook, Scott as well. Philip Billing likes a goal against Swansea, Steve. Is Ryan Christie getting a day off? He thought he was going to get a day off in London at Loftus Road, but we had to call on him. That's the engine. Are you worried that there's no Ryan Christie? Don't disagree with what Matt's saying there. I do like the lineup. You do need to get minutes into Billing to keep him happy. And Alex Scott needs minutes as well. So, yeah, it's about right.
Previously, I've said that I totally agree with that. Yeah, the only player I'd like, look, I think if you can go strong and you can get your noses in front and get yourself into a comfortable position, then you could take some of maybe Kirk or Scott off and bring someone like Kilkenny on, give him some minutes just to get him a little bit involved in the squad. If you're doing well when you're 2 up or something like that late on in the game.
Maybe. Yeah.
But I would go strong with it, and I think that's as pretty much as. I don't think you can't emulate Christie because, like we said, he's an absolute mentalist. I don't know how he keeps it going, but I've said this season, I think Cook's levels of his energy levels have increased. I think I think there's enough energy in there with Scott and Cook to cope with what Swansea will have,
and creativity as well, Steve, with Scott. We need that
Mhm.
creativity.
Well, Scott and Bill, and
I want him on set
all of
pieces,
them.
Matt.
They're all creative.
Yeah,
I do
Who's
want
that?
Scott on set pieces. I want Scott back on set pieces.
yeah, that's
because
key
I
as well.
think he
Yeah.
changed the game at QPR.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
we don't forget that we might have made a mistake with the back four. Don't forget that Lewis Cook played back four against QPR second half.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah.
Okay, let's
Who knows
go
with Andoni?
Yeah.
We don't want to know about the striker yet in the chat. So let's do the two wingers, Steve. We got David Brooks, didn't take his chance at QPR, didn't take his chance against Liverpool late in the game. I know the game was gone, but didn't take the chance. Sinistera, Justin Kluivert, Marcus Tavernier, who's picking up the two attacking winger roles.
I personally would give Sinistera another run out on the left. Because I thought in moments he did some tricks and flicks that were nice and they did come off on Sunday. And he looked like he wanted to take players on, which I don't think we have enough of that in our team, like wanting to beat a man. It's just again, it was a case of final ball and final decision making that let him down a little bit. But he's been in and out. He hasn't had a solid run, has he? I think he might be that sort of player. I think most players, are going to be better for having a longer run in a side. So I'd go with Sinistera. I'm stuck with this one because my head says Tavernier, but my heart says give Brooksy another go, and against a side that he should be able to cope with quite easily and perform well against.
Is he still in a Bournemouth shirt in a week's time?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. And is there an argument to say he's had those chances already and not really taking the ball by the horns? And we all love Brooksy and we know what he's been through, but it's just doesn't seem to be happening for him. Whether he doesn't suit Andoni's ethos of way he wants to play or whatever, but he's not showered himself in glory on Sunday, missing that easy chance. But I kind of want to give him another chance. I just think that's a bit of sentiment. I'm pretty sure of that. It's sentiment with me.
But also, Matt, Kluivert came on off the bench against QPR on the right and got the winner. And I'm a big Tav fan. I'll keep beating that drum, but he looked frustrated. He looked frustrated against Liverpool. He looked frustrated when he didn't get the ball in the positions he wanted them. I don't know. Does Tav need a break? I mean, I want to attack this because we want to go strong, but maybe Kluivert off the right. I mean, it's Swansea. This is a game that we should really be going for them. We should be really confident. We're the Premier League side. They're in no man's land in the Championship. I feel like I want to lean towards Kluivert. I understand what Steve's saying about David Brooks, but not even sure he's going to be part of the squad in the week.
I'm saying Tavernier, but there's a bit of sentiment that wants me to see Brooks come on and do something and be the Brooks we remember him. But I just don't think it's there anymore.
No, I think Brooks just doesn't fit Areola's style of play, does he? He really doesn't. He likes pace and power on the flanks, and Brooks doesn't offer that. So if you're not going to play him, his role would probably be more in the 10. But even then, like Steve said, he hasn't covered himself in glory whenever he's been given an opportunity, really. So I think I would probably go towards Kluivert, to be honest, and maybe give Tav a rest.
I'm going to lean on the.
So the reason I haven't, I like what Wing's saying there. He's saying that it's a good opportunity to play Tav into form, which is right because he hasn't really come back with the numbers this season, has he?
There's all sorts
as
of
much as he did last season.
Yeah.
The reason I haven't gone for Kluivert is because I think he's an option for playing up front.
This is what I was just going to say. Could you put Kluivert in the 9 and put Tav on the wing and have a front three of Sinistera, Kluivert, and Tav, which could be quite fluid as well, because Sinistera could maybe drop in there, and do you know what I mean? It could be
Paul wants
even
to put a little
as a false 9. Yeah.
Okay, right.
There's all sorts of permutations, really. There really is.
So there is an option to play Kluivert up top. We saw that in pre-season. There is an option to play Billing there. I wouldn't play Billing there, but fair play to Paul for throwing that one in the chat. It's between Kiefer Moore and Dom Solanke. Kiefer Moore really struggled at QPR, didn't have a lot of service in the first half, got the second goal, got us equalised in the fixture. After Sunday, and I want to attack this competition and really take it seriously, I think Dom Solanke, Matt. I really think Dom Solanke needs to start.
If it's a choice between the two, you've got to go Dom, haven't you? Unless you're going to rip up the form, you're going to rip up the what he's been doing.
Yeah.
And if you're going to play more, You've got to play different. You've got to
Are
play.
you going to
get the
attack it,
ball
or are
out
you not
wide,
going to
get
attack
across.
it? That's
Yeah.
for me.
If-
Are you
if-
going to
if-
attack the
You've
competition?
got to go Dom.
If we're going away from home to a Premier League top 6 side and we're gonna be up against it, we're going to want to loft balls into the box all day long when we can't. We're going to want someone to hold the ball up and bring players into play. Then Kiefer Moore's maybe your man. He's a Plan B player, isn't he? We all know what he offers, but looking at that lineup that we've all chosen, how can you not have Dom Solanke as a part of it? Because Kiefer Moore's just going to slow it all up. Let's be honest. He's not. It doesn't fit the style in any way, shape, or form. So you're going to have to go Dom.
So we're saying Tavernier doesn't play.
We're saying we're
And that
resting
hurts
Tavernier.
me. That hurts me.
Yeah, it does. But he's on the bench, isn't he? I mean, this is quite. Christie come on at half time against QPR, and Cliver, I think, come on, didn't he, at half time against QPR? So it depends how things are going, doesn't it? After 45 minutes, but that side there, you look at it, and you think that is more than capable of putting goals past Swansea City, with all due respect.
Yeah, I mean, Steve, coming back to the point here, Wings saying play Cliver up top, which is what you potentially suggested. Don't risk Dom. We know that if Dom gets injured, we're maybe in deep trouble. We've got a week before we play a next Premier League game. We're in 2 competitions now until the end of the season. But I want to attack this competition. I want to take it seriously. I really want to set a precedence of what we're going to do now for the FA Cup. And we're going to go and hit Swansea and we're going to hurt them. We're going to beat them 3-4-0, whatever. And let's do it. Let's do it. Let's play Dom.
Okay. But the caveat to that is that if Dom picks up an injury in the first 10 minutes and he's out for 3 months.
Yeah, it's a risk. It's a risk.
My point is, if we should have enough to beat them, regardless of Dom or Cliver, or even more for that. He's off to Milan, isn't he?
Do we put Cliver in the 9 then and put Tavernier on the wing?
It's Tavernier.
I think he'll go with Solanke because I think he wants to attack it, like Kirk said. Personally, I wouldn't risk him. But we've seen, what happens when he's, I don't know, when he's a bit isolated and he's not. Someone said there he's had a few knocks this season, and I don't know if he's playing with a little bit of a knock. But could he not just? Is he not worth giving him a rest as well? Because the problem is if he's the only one scoring goals for us. So
Steve also puts in the chat if Dom's carrying a bit of an injury, then he shouldn't start. His knee was strapped up on Sunday. Okay,
100% agree. But if he's on the bench and things aren't going well, we can maybe bring him on late doors, can't we?
Do you know what's a good thing? That we haven't got to do this job. That's a good thing because we have gone around the houses a little bit. But tell you what, look, that's what we've gone for. That's our predicted lineup. If you're watching this back on replay, tell us what you think.
Be good enough.
That should be good enough. 100%.
Yeah.
And it is flexible to change it up, just like Andoni did against QPR. He'll do it. If he's not happy and it's not working, he did it in the Carabao Cup against Stoke. Traore wasn't working, so he whipped him out.
He's done it pretty much every game that we've had in the Cup. He's swapped it around at half time because it hasn't been working.
But what I like as well, lads, is he sees things that nobody else does. Who else saw Lewis Cook in the back 4 and would have the bravery to make that decision? That's where we've got a class manager, and we've stepped up from O'Neill.
Interesting lineup. Right, we are 54 minutes into our episode 27. Should we do it? Should we do a score predictions? This is your 60-second warning. What do you think the score will be in the FA Cup 4th round between Bournemouth and Swansea? Go for it in the chat. Thank you so much for supporting Cherries Red Army on our journey, on our YouTube, on our podcast. Please do subscribe. Please do tell as many people about the channel as we get closer to 2,000 subscribers. Thank you so much to our monthly members. Anyone who donates or supports the channel at buymeacoffee.com/Cherries Red Army. Thank you very much. Details in the description below. Click the link, takes you there. But please do smash the like button on this video. It's been an interesting conversation. Really, really liked it. Your score predictions are going in the chat. Steve, you at the game?
Stupid question.
Stupid question.
Of course I'm at the game. Yeah, no, I'll be there. It's something I want to, like Matt said, we want to see us have a good little progression in a cup, and I'm in there because I don't want to lose my points. Because if there's always that chance we do progress, and if I decide, I don't want to go to some of the early rounds, I won't get a bloody ticket. But I think we should cope with this game pretty easily. I think I'm seeing a lot of the similar sort of 3-0, 3-1s, and I think I'm probably going to go for a famous Cherries Red Army 3-1. I think
nice
because I think we've got a it's a free hit for them, so they will chuck a bit of the kitchen sink at us, and I'm sure we'll concede one. But I think we'll just outshoot them.
Yeah, we've had just the one, isn't it? One this season. Sheffield United, 3-1. That was the last time, I think, at Bramall Lane. Let's dive into the chat, Matt, and then we'll see what we think. 9-3.
Chris.
I think he's adjusted that.
3-0. Yeah. I think it's 3-0. We'll come back to Chris. 3-0. That's what you meant. Well done, Chris. Clean sheet, 3-0. Mark Cole agrees with Chris, 3-0. Wing is saying, with the team I want, it will be 5-0. Realistically, Cherries Red Army 3-1. Paul also going with a famous Cherries Red Army 3-1. And Terry is going for the Cherries Red Army 3-1. Alan's going 4-1. Steve Connors loving the Cherries Red Army. Famous 3-1. So is Mark. You did see him right, Steve. A lot of 3-1s in there. Cameron's 4-0. Gene wants to see Billing and more. So we'll see what happens prior to kickoff. And another 3-1 from Wing. Thank you very much. Any more score predictions going in? I'll show them on the screen. Matt, your score prediction, FA Cup 4th round. Great opportunity for the Cherries.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I think with the back four that hopefully will be fielding, you look at that back four, and it's a Premier League back four, really, with a very competent goalkeeper. So there's no reason why we can't keep a clean sheet, and we need to keep a clean sheet, I think, for confidence. So I'm going to predict a clean sheet, and I think that we've got enough in that team if we field what we think we're going to field to be able to create chances and score goals. So I'm going to go with a comfortable 3-0 victory, and that's not at all being disrespectful to Swansea, but you look at the two sides on paper. For whatever side we field, I just feel that is there for us on Thursday night, and there's no reason why we can't execute it really with the team that we should be putting out and what we're capable of. I'd love to see Alex Scott really come into his own and maybe even notch a goal on Thursday night. Certainly an assist or two. Really like to see him run the show if he plays. That would be my wish. But I'm going to go 3-0.
And any Swansea fans checking out this preview, this part of the episode, thank you very much. And no disrespect, we know you're probably going to come here and just give it everything. You're in your new project under your new manager as well. So let's see what you can do on the night. I am going to join the famous, I think, 3-1. Let's get another one in there. Some people will be happy with that.
You're trying to keep El Mourinho's from going out of business, are
you? Yeah. I am confident Travers can keep a clean sheet. I mean, he got 20 against championship sides, didn't he? So he's got every chance of keeping a clean sheet. So got to go with 3-1 though. I love the Cherries Red Army. I don't like conceding, but I do like the famous 3-1 score. Episode 27 then. That's another one wrapped up, guys. Steve, Hensman, always good to chat Bournemouth. Your final thoughts in episode 27 and any nice thought for the Bournemouth fans leading into an FA Cup weekend?
Yeah, I mean, look, we've had a disappointment a couple of games, and I think we just forget about them now, move on to this. There's another 5 teams going to go out from the Premier League this round. So it is, like you said, it's going to open up, and there's a good chance here to progress into the latter stages of this competition and, really have a go at it for a change, which would be nice to see. And I think the fans will really, warm to Andoni a lot more if we get that sort of, deep into a competition. He's done it before in his previous jobs. We've all talked about it. So there's no reason he can't emulate that here. Great opportunity. And then after that, we've got some very winnable games. We've got the likes of West Ham, Fulham. We got some games in there. Forest. Yeah. So let's just put those 2 games behind us, move on. And I'm sure we'll get back on track soon enough. Semenyo will be back anyway. Don't worry. Ghana cocked it up, didn't they?
2-0 lead as well.
Yeah, 2-0 in 2 goals in injury time against, who was it against?
Not sure. I just know they absolutely threw it away. Matt, Steve Connor, final thought from him. At least there won't be loads of away fans in the home seats. It's going to be a full house. I think all the tickets are gone.
Can I just say that was awful on Sunday. The amount of Liverpool fans. It was awful. At the end of the game, they're all down. They're all
It's
down by the
embarrassing.
hoardings, taking photographs of the Liverpool crowd and the Liverpool players, and it was just
Yeah,
It's embarrassing. It is. It's embarrassing.
I actually bumped into Sam Davies from back of the net and Tiggs, and I said to them, I've never seen it so busy as the coaches come in. Never seen it so busy. It was ridiculous. But,
well, I've never been asked by so many randoms like that I haven't heard from ages for tickets. It was just and it wasn't to come and see the Cherries. It was to come bloody watch Liverpool.
Predictable.
Makes you sick, really. Just sums it up, really. Yeah, I
went on. Your final thoughts, episode 27.
Yeah, I mean, I went on Sam's vlog, as you know, and said as much. Said, the embarrassment we're seeing so many Bournemouth fans surrounding the Liverpool team coach. That's the thing that pissed me off. Excuse my language to start with, but anyway, that's by the by. It's sold out on Thursday night, which is good to see. And there'll all be Bournemouth fans, and I think there'll be a lot of new support or newish sort of supporters. It'll be almost our second string of support, won't it, on Thursday night? A lot of them, like it tends to be for the cup game. So that's the future. That's how we're going to build our club. So it's great to see that it's a sellout. Final thoughts really are, looking back through the years as AFC Bournemouth fan, getting to the fourth round of the FA Cup at home to Swansea City would be quite a big event, wouldn't it, this weekend? We'd all be really excited, thinking, can we get to the fifth round and get a big boy? And now we're excited at the fact we've got Swansea and we've got a real chance to make progress in the Cup. So it just shows how far we've come as a football club. So let's just embrace it. Let's enjoy it on the pitch and in the stands and hopefully get through it. And like you've both said, like Steve said, the Cup, could open up for us. We could have a run, and unprecedented, isn't it, to be able to get as far as a semi-final maybe for a club like ours. So let's go for it and let's enjoy it and embrace it. And up the Cherries.
Can we get to the fifth round and get Maidstone? Well, they got past Ipswich first, but well played to them getting this far in the competition. Fantastic. Very, very good. Thank you so much for everyone who joined us live wherever you are in the world. We've had a new feature come out last weekend where we've got overseas Bournemouth fans giving their match reactions. So more of them to come throughout the season. We'll get as many fans involved throughout the season, do more streams. And look, follow our socials, follow the YouTube channel, because we'll see if we can do something next week leading into West Ham, because I think the transfer deadline day ends around that fixture, if not on that fixture, on the same day. So we'll see if we can do a stream where we can get involved with that and see if we're getting involved and bringing some players in, maybe on loan.
Be good to get some news, wouldn't it, of anything? Because all we've seen is people leaving. We're going to have to strengthen somewhat.
Definitely. Yeah. But this has been Cherries in Focus, episode 27. Please do smash the like button. Please do look after yourselves. Swansea fans, do take care coming down to Bournemouth, but let's have a good fixture. And let's hope the Cherries will be in the hat for the fifth round. Look after yourselves wherever you are in the world. We'll see you on the next one. Up the Cherries.
Up the Cherries.